Currently, Senegal is facing a very acute shortage of fish in its waters, and ultimately within its population. A nation once known for being the top fish-producing nation in West Africa, with its massive fish stocks. Senegal was once producing over 700,000 metric tons of fish each year, but now facing an unprecedented 80% decline in total fish catches in Senegalese waters. But what has led to this acute shortage and a massive deterioration of Senegal's fishing industry? It all started with one wrong move by one man that sent everything crashing. Now Senegal's newly elected president Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Ousmane Sonko just stepped in to fix this mess. The pastef regime has done something remarkable to restore the Senegalese fishing heritage. Make sure you stay till the end to find out more. Let's dive right in. Once upon a time, Senegal was once a very rich cosmopolitan fishing metropolis with its vast array of species of fish. Prior to the arrival of foreign vessels, Senegalese waters boasted a rich diversity of fish species, with over 500 different species recorded according to a comprehensive survey conducted by the Senegalese Institute of Marine Research, ISM. Senegal's artisanal fishing sector thrived, with an estimated annual catch of over 500,000 metric tons, providing livelihoods for approximately 17% of the country's population, as stated by a report by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. In addition, the Senegalese coastline was a prime breeding ground for commercially valuable species such as sardinella, bonga shad, and grouper, supporting a robust fishing industry worth over $500 million annually, according to data from the Senegalese Ministry of Fisheries. Due to its huge fish production capacity, Senegal ranked among the top fish producers in West Africa, with an average annual fish production of 700,000 metric tons, making it a key contributor to regional food security, as highlighted by a study by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. The abundance of fish in Senegalese waters sustained a vibrant ecosystem, attracting marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, and manatees, as documented by the Senegalese Association for the Conservation of Marine Mammals, ASMS. Traditional fishing practices, deeply rooted in Senegalese culture, were sustainable and community-driven, with techniques passed down through generations ensuring minimal impact on fish stocks, as researched by the University of Dakar. Furthermore, before the influx of foreign vessels in Senegalese waters, Senegal's fish processing industry flourished, with over 100 processing plants along the coast, employing over 50,000 workers and contributing significantly to the country's export earnings, according to a report by the Senegalese Ministry of Trade. The abundance of fish in Senegalese waters supported a thriving tourism industry, centered around recreational fishing and ecotourism, attracting visitors from around the world, as reported by a study by the Senegalese Ministry of Tourism. Senegal's traditional fishing communities enjoyed a strong sense of cultural identity and socio-economic stability, with fish serving as a staple food source and a cornerstone of local traditions and ceremonies, as documented by ethnographic studies conducted by local universities. The sustainability of Senegal's fisheries was recognized internationally, with the country implementing successful management strategies such as marine protected areas and seasonal fishing bans, earning accolades from organizations like the Marine Stewardship Council, MSC, for responsible fishing practices. However, all these great features, statistics, and appraisal of Senegal's fish reserve has slowly dwindled in the midst of insatiable greed and serious catastrophic mismanagement. But why and how did Senegal got it all wrong? It all started with when the Senegalese fishing agreement with the European Union came into effect. This has led to a stiff competition between the Senegalese rickety wooden boat and the massive foreign fishing trawlers. Is this competition fair in the first place? Can Senegalese wooden boats be a match for the European Union and Chinese colossal fishing trawlers? Comment down below. The answer is loud and clear. These Chinese and European Union fishing trawlers have caused a serious depletion of fish stock in Senegalese waters, so much so that the local wooden boats are encountering up to 80% depletion in their daily catches. According to the Senegalese people themselves, the sea in Senegal is dead. That's because Macky Sall sold all of Senegal's waters, said Ndour, one of the local fishermen who left the fishing industry only to embark on a dangerous journey to Europe by boat, just like many other fishermen, with an estimated 70% surge in the number of fishermen and women embarking on this dangerous journey. Under Macky Sall's government, Senegal renewed a fishing agreement with the EU. The deal gives European vessels access to fish in Senegalese waters and exports that catch back home in exchange for money. An EU fishing rights deal with Senegal was renegotiated under Macky Sall's watch, focusing mainly on tuna. Since 2014, it has paid Senegal €1.7 million, which is approximately $1.85 million a year, for the right to fish 10,000 tons of tuna. In addition, ship owners pay about €1.35 million a year in fees, according to the EU. But the deal has been controversial. While most fishing agreements have a transparency clause regarding how much fish is exported by European vessels, the EU-Senegal deal does not. While the EU invests in the artisanal fishing industry and fishing governance, fishermen like Guai have argued that if there are no fish to catch, there is no point to these investments. The pastef regime have taken a major step to combat this issue head-on. But before we get there, what are the serious damning consequences of the fishing agreement Macky Sall signed with the EU? Some 78% of fishermen and fish processors interviewed by EJF said they found it harder to feed their households compared with 5 years ago. A record 39,910 migrants arrived from predominantly Senegal and Gambia via the Canary Islands last year, and that is increasing this year, Interior Ministry data show. Rights group Walking Borders says 6,007 people lost their lives on the route last year. For the past years under President Sall, legal fishing by industrial foreign trawlers from China and Europe who had signed contracts with the government decimated Senegal's fish stocks, leaving artisanal fishers with empty nets. This scarcity also led local fish prices to soar, according to fishermen, something that could significantly affect people's nutritional intake, as Senegalese get about 40% of their animal protein from seafood, according to 2017 figures. Senegal also loses $272 million per year because of unauthorized and illegal industrial fishing by foreign boats, according to the Institute for Security Studies. Foreign boats are restricted from fishing in certain areas and have strict indicators as to what type of catch they are allowed to fish. But often, they turn off their satellite transponders to avoid being tracked and use illegal nets. Within 2 years of Chinese and EU vessels entering Senegalese waters, the local fish population decreased by 60%, according to a study by the Senegalese Ministry of Fisheries. Senegal's artisanal fishers, who rely on small-scale fishing, experienced a staggering 80% decline in catch volume since the arrival of foreign vessels, as reported by a survey conducted by a local environmental NGO. In addition to this destruction, the introduction of foreign industrial trawlers led to a loss of income for over 50,000 Senegalese fisherfolk, constituting approximately 10% of the coastal population, as per a World Bank analysis. The average size of fish caught in Senegalese waters decreased by 30% due to size of nets used for overfishing by foreign fleets, according to data from the Senegalese Institute of Oceanographic Research. As if this wasn't enough, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing activities by foreign vessels in Senegal increased by 150% since their arrival, according to a report by the Environmental Justice Foundation. Senegal's marine biodiversity suffered a significant blow with a 40% decline in non-target species such as turtles and dolphins, attributed to bycatch from foreign trawlers, as highlighted by a study published in the Senegalese Journal of Marine Science. According to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the Senegalese government's revenue from fishing licenses plummeted by 70% within 3 years of granting access to foreign fleets, leading to a substantial budget deficit in the fisheries sector. The influx of foreign vessels contributed to a 25% increase in conflicts between artisanal fishers and industrial trawlers, resulting in a rise in maritime disputes and tensions, according to a joint assessment by local authorities and international observers. Overfishing in Senegalese waters led to a 60% decline in the number of fish processing jobs, affecting over 20,000 workers in the local fish processing industry, according to data from the Senegalese Ministry of Employment. Now let's move on to the most recent move taken by the pastef regime to counter the brutal effects of this widespread incursions into Senegalese waters. First, this is a humble request to please support our work by liking this video and subscribing to the African Pacific YouTube channel, a Gambian-owned channel where we look into the happenings of the motherland that are often ignored by mainstream media. Please show your support liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. When Faye announced his electoral program at the start of the month, He mentioned shifting the fishing zone exclusive for artisanal fishermen by 20 kilometers a couple of decades back was a result of the diverse species of fish present. He also announced his intent to develop and implement a national plan for the immersion and management of artificial Chinese and EU vessels, an attempt to reconstruct marine habitats and ecosystems degraded by years of damaging industrial and artisanal fishing practices. We will apply without concession, and in all its rigor, the regulations on sea fishing to put an end to the political and complacent management of the sector. Local media quoted him as saying, in advance of the vote, Faye also signed a charter for sustainable fishing, alongside other candidates. Proposed by Senegal's National Coalition for Sustainable Fishing and supported by Greenpeace during this month's election campaign, the charter included a commitment to oversee stock management at the sub-regional level, conduct audits on a fishing agreement with the European Union, and allocate a portion of revenue generated from oil and gas exploitation to the fishing sector. These were some of the promises the pastef regime made before coming to power. Now that they are in power, the pastef regime has started mediation efforts with the EU to bring the fishing agreement under review and negotiate again, just as BE is doing for the oil and gas. Senegal's new leader, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has called for a rethink of the country's relationship with the EU during a visit by European Council President Charles Michel. Michel said the two parties should not dread broaching difficult subjects if it meant bringing about improvements for both sides, pointing to the fisheries issue in particular. Fishing is a significant part of Senegal's economy, but the industry is grappling with the effects of over-exploitation of marine stocks. While the fisheries agreements concluded with the EU and other partners by Senegal's former leaders still arouse the anger of a number of local fishermen, the president of the European Council said he was ready to broach the subject without taboos at a time when the new Senegalese authorities are promising to renegotiate a number of public contracts. In the fisheries and fish resources sector, for example, we are ready to look at the facts, see how we can, if necessary, make improvements on both sides, Charles Michel further said, stressing that the EU's responsibility is to be a loyal, predictable partner for Senegal with no hidden agenda. Based on this, the EU is open to renegotiations of the fishing contract with Senegal. Hopefully the pastef regime will come up with a better deal that would warrant the local fishermen take back control of their waters. Could the Gambia also do the same thing by renegotiating its fishing agreement with the EU? Comment down below. This is a polite reminder to please like this video and subscribe to the African Pacific YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. However, for Senegal's vast fish stocks to come back as it was once known, it is going to take lots of time and dedication. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. This is the end of this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay safe.